How's it going, heathens? We are talking about the season finale and series finale of Salem. And today's episode, we're talking about Black Sunday. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, I'm kind of sad. This is like the last time of digging this song. Well, I'll probably listen to it another time, but I mean, like, here. Oh, man. Welcome to the Salem After Show. We are talking about the season and series finale, Season 3, Episode 10, Black Sunday. My name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D. Lane. And if you're watching this live, please feel free to join us in the chat room and let us know your thoughts on this awesome show and the finale. And if you're watching it later, comment down below. Let's all share our, our community of Salem fandomness, because it's over, at least for now. And I'm joined by my awesome co-host.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Pam Gross. You can find me at Pamela Gross Jill on the internet. And yeah, man, this is a sad and exciting night because there's a lot of resolution we're going to dive into, but also tears. Sad to say goodbye to our friends, our Salemites.
Are you satisfied? Briefly, are you satisfied with how they wrapped everything up?
I am. As far as I am. Overall, yes. Which is a really tall order for any series wrapping up faces quite a challenge. Mm-hmm. And this one, I think, did a great job of giving satisfactory character conclusions.
Yes, I think they did a good job. We were talking about that. We're like, how are they going to wrap everything up? Because there's so many things going on. I mean, maybe at the end, some could argue they kind of like montage go pretty quickly, wrapping up everyone's storyline. But I found that very satisfying because I'm like, well, wait, what about so-and-so? What about so-and-so? And it's like, nope, here we go. We got you. This happens to this person, this, and this. But it still leaves it tiny bit. It's not perfectly wrapped up. Like it leads you to go, oh, there will be more.
Yes. And on that, everything that I really wanted to see in the conclusion of the series, I think, if not happened exactly the way I wanted it, happened at least to some extent. I feel like a lot of justice was served to our characters.
No, definitely. So we'll dive right into it. So I really love that they picked right up where it left off last episode.
Yes. I
mean, you kind of have to because it's like it's the end. They're on a roll. And Dan, the devil boy, is all like, "Anne, you've done a great job," and Anne's like, "Yes, I'm your servant." And you're like, ugh. Then we jump right over to John and Sebastian, and I like their talking about Mary, and he's like, "You're Mary," and John's like, "What? Am I Mary? Were you so were you starting to get your like John and Mary?"
Oh, well, we all know that I'm super team John and Mary. I ship them. And I was so happy because Sebastian was just bitter to the end. He never changed his tune, which a lot of the characters, I think, were. They were themselves through and through. Some of them changed, but they were pretty consistent, which is nice. There was no fake, this is my new personality right before the end. There was a lot of consistency there.
I would argue, though, that Sebastian was loyal to Mary until the end, though.
Right. He was consistently a bitter little brat that wanted to make her suffer. He was loyal. He loved her. He wanted to bring her John Alden's head or hands or eyes to make her suffer for breaking his heart.
But in his dying breaths, though, he was like, save her.
Yes. He did want to save her if he couldn't have her. It was either have her or save her. When it was clear he was dying, he did choose her over her misery, which was great. Yeah.
I have a semi-love-hate relationship with Sebastian. I almost was like, Sebastian and Mary.
Well,
you're like, no.
Yeah, no, I'm 1,000,000%
and I was
John
almost
and
Sebastian
Mary.
and Anne. I was like, that's really weird, but you guys are almost suited for each other.
That was the only thing that I would say that really rang false to me, that didn't seem to make any sense, that came out of nowhere.
Around. Yeah, that was a bit weird.
Like, okay. Yep. And they sort of, again, it wasn't like a failure on the part of the writers. I think they made it make sense with her broken heart and the Marburg thing, and it was just such tumult that it seemed okay that she did it at the time, but that I was like, what? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm glad that wasn't focused on anymore. And I did like that John, in my head, this is the narrative I made up during the Sebastian-John duel in the beginning, that when John saw that and the reason he was ready to be done with Mary was that he didn't know she was forced into it, and he thought maybe he was just being given privy to a moment of love between them. So he was like, you know, forget about this.
Yeah.
But then it became clear that
no, totally.
Yeah. So yay.
And the fight was a little bit unfair. That you're like, dude, how is John gonna do well in this? Because it was like Sebastian has magic, and it's just like Dinley's sitting there and gets stabbed in the shoulder. Ow.
Well, the one thing,
so good.
The comic relief in this episode is that they're all like Dr. Evil style villains. Like they all leave them for dead without, they sit and pontificate over their like still bodies that have been hit a lot of times.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
I didn't see that coming at all. The John double stab to the neck, because at first I couldn't see, but then I was like, oh, the book, the like shelving fell on him, because it looked like it was inside a box.
Yeah.
So then I was like, whoa, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's the shelf, because when John gets up, you're like, oh, that's where it came from.
A lot of nearly dead people, though, that, you know,
Yeah.
came back with a vengeance in this episode, which I'm glad about. But yeah, go John. Even the magic of Sebastian couldn't beat true love.
Right. So yeah, Sebastian dies, but like we said, he helps John to save Mary in the end. So
Yes.
he semi-redeemed himself. We have the crazy mob breaking into the whorehouse. Mercy's still hesitating to kill Isaac, though. Again, she's like, I could totally kill you. So why haven't you?
Right.
She's like that villain who does like a monologue forever, and you're like, can you just do it?
It's the Dr. Evil style of killing, like laser beams and sharks and toothpaste and very slow sinking ship. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, just shoot him.
Just do it.
Shoot him.
Why are you waiting? Yeah.
Oh.
No, totally.
Yeah.
And then I have my moments where I feel bad for her, and then other moments where I'm like, nope. But in that moment, during that, I was just like, dude, she can never catch a break. And
Mercy?
even in the end, that girl, it's one of those, she tries so hard, and just up Schitt's Creek with no paddle, pretty
You know
much.
what? I think that Mercy's conclusion was obviously not a happy one per se. However,
It's hopelessly romantic, though.
she learned love. She died with love in her heart, which is a better way to go than bitter and angry.
Yeah, no, totally.
I think she did come full circle. I think she is the character that actually came
the
full
most.
circle. Yeah. She went from a genuinely evil person to true love, and most of the people, and was redeemed in that.
Yeah.
To some extent.
And now this might be obvious to you guys watching, and I was surprised I didn't really think of it before, because we had touched a little bit before on Mercy and Hawthorne's relationship, how I'm like, it's really kind of weird, but then I'm kind of rooting for them, and then I was like, they had this moment where they're like facing each other early on when the mob's like getting crazy, and I'm like, she totally has daddy issues. She just hooked up with her dad in terms of like needing love, because she didn't get that from her father. And it's one of those, like, just because a girl's with an older man, I would never be like automatically like daddy issues,
Right.
but her, that like needing to have someone take care of you that way, I was like, oh, I really felt bad for her.
She got the love from Hawthorne
And he
that
was
she never got from her
genuine.
dad. Yeah, that she did genuinely love him. So I would say that Mercy and Hawthorne went out in as pleasant a way possible.
Yeah, it was,
I mean, not the actual death, which was kind of, raunch, but their emotional state upon their demise was of love.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll talk about how everybody ends in the end. Then we got Cotton and Anne. And I liked Anne's line. She's like, I'm pretty much been freed from craving for the world's approval.
Yeah.
That's actually good advice of like, don't crave the world's approval, because then you can... Apparently, this is what I kind of predicted and wanted, though, from the show from the very beginning. I'm like, I want Anne to come in her own and kick ass, and that's kind of what she did.
Right. This was definitely the rise of Anne, the fall of everyone. Could have been the title of this episode.
Yeah. And then she releases Cotton, so then there's that little bit. One other little thing was how Dinley and John, they're like, I don't know what to do with the bomb, and then lo and behold, it doesn't go off anyway.
Right.
And they're like, oh, it's over.
Well, it was all because of Cotton.
Yeah. But they don't know that, so they're sitting there. And speaking of Cotton, then we get Cotton when he comes to the house. I felt like Anne was trying to trick him. But in the end, no, it's like it was his soul for everyone in Salem. Like, I just kind of was like, this is too good to be true. Like, can I get this guaranteed in writing? And like,
that's
are you guys
what
lying
I was,
to me?
can they even trust that?
Right.
But I guess he did. I did think,
worked.
what's to guarantee that he's not going to take Cotton's soul and still destroy all of Salem?
I almost would have wanted him to ask that question. Be like, well, what guarantee do I have that if I give you my soul, Salem will be safe?
Well, that I think makes logical sense, but I think that's just because we're cynics.
Yeah, and we're sitting there going, no.
The whole point is that I think in conclusion of the show, Cotton has always been the heart and the moral center of everything, and flawed and human, and he was, again, until the end. He was Cotton till the end. He did sacrifice himself. We did predict last week that there would be a sacrifice. We did think that,
and we
thought
knew somebody was going to die.
Maybe Mary.
We thought Mary would go into hell.
Yeah, but that was very poetic, and I also loved
fitting for Cotton.
And the callback to him saying, "My father said I was there beside him burning, and I've been plagued with what sin I committed."
Better than
and he's saying, "Yes, it's my choice." Oh, Cotton.
And then him saying bye and sorry to Mary was so sweet. And she's like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, no, it's okay. And then Anne's just like, well, what about me? And he's like, I'm sorry I ever laid eyes on you. And you're like, oh, mic drop. Boom. That was so good.
And then she's like, well, you'll regret what could have been in our marriage. And he's like, I'd rather be here. Cotton. So it was all about Cotton, which was nice because it is. It was, and he was pure of heart.
Yeah.
Which I guess the devil feeds on more than just, as he said,
energy.
sheep. Yeah.
Then we have, speaking of the devil transforms into a man. And I was like, oh, okay. And he points out how Cotton sacrificed quick in his transformation. And I kind of was like, I had a moment where I'm like, well, at least you're not like having to hook up with this little kid.
Yeah. It was easier on the eyes, if nothing else. I mean, it was.
He was a good looking man.
He was fine. It was a lot easier to stomach, even though.
Ooh, yeah.
It was, though, more pleasant on the eye than seeing her, like,
have
a sex scene with
right,
that we saw as her son. So I'm glad that they made him a man.
And that transformation, if you don't already follow Salem on Twitter, go follow them because they posted a lot of things. I think they called it I think they did Transformation Tuesday or something like that. They did a hashtag like transformation. I can't quite recall, but if you just look up Salem, you'll find it. But they did like photos of transformation. And then I didn't really understand, and that image, we had seen it, we're like, I don't get it, but now I'm like, oh. And that was really good. It was super disgusting. Again, mad props to the special effects and practical effects people.
Throughout the whole thing.
Good. And even just with the boy and like his neck, it's just everything you believe in, and just like how the devil crawled out of the body. It's one of those, it's not just fake CGI where we sit there and are like, whatever, but it's like you get a visceral reaction because it's so like tangible and real. You go, oh yeah. No, a person wouldn't crawl out of someone's body, but this is what it would look like if you did it. So
it is very real. It doesn't look CGI-y. It looks like they really made did the whole thing for real.
Yes. And then we have Mary was like, nope. And she's all, it's unnatural, and why wouldn't you want to be with me? Because I have absolute and utter revulsion. I am so grossed out by you. Though when she kissed him, I was like, just vomit right now. Vomit. Like, actually have
She did look like she was going to vomit. She was trying to contain it.
We had a couple people joining in the chat. Jan Obi says, I knew that Cotton was being lied to help the devil. But in a way, though, he saved Salem, but left it for Anne. So, I mean, it wasn't destroyed.
Cotton was being lied to like, he was, to
the devil didn't really lie to him.
Right. What was the lie?
Your soul for Salem. So, what other lie?
Which Salem did survive.
Oh. When the devil said, you didn't think that I would wed you. Oh, no. Sorry, that was another bit. So, yeah, what do you mean with the devil was lying? And then Dave G says he looked like Sebastian covered in blood. I actually thought it was the Sentinel for just a second.
He did have a Sebastian-esque look, but he was like blonder. But I see that. He had like the same shaped face and
you're
head.
Like, I can't tell who it was.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think he gave a hard time to Anne. Jan Obi also says, I was kind of mad at him, Cotton, for being such an asshole to Anne, even though Anne was a psycho wife to him.
Right. Well, she did become the queen of the night, so
good.
yeah.
I was so satisfied with him. Be like, no. And I wanted it to work, and it's one of those, maybe in an alternate life it would have worked. In a alternate truth.
Yeah. In an alternative reality.
Alternate fact, yes.
So that's what I do wonder, though, on that. If Cotton had said, okay, I'll serve you and we'll live out our days together, that would have been just another kind of hell for him. So I guess Anne might have been happy, but yeah, it seemed like he did make the right choice. He didn't
Cotton made the right choice. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of other options given the circumstances.
And then Anne, it's like, he's all, yes, bring her to the altar. My bed. That is. And you're like, oh, it's just getting weirder. Oh, you devil. But they go down to the Countess, and there's this slit, but I couldn't see it well enough that I'm like, because it came out of her mouth, but it looked like it was like her chin. I don't know, but she was bleeding.
So all along, that's all it took was the Countess drinking Mary's blood to assume her form? Like, had that happened earlier in the season, would she have emerged?
I think she had to get enough of it.
And maybe directly from the source or something? I
think it probably is more powerful from the source, yeah. Totally. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's why they were keeping her around all this time, to reanimate.
Okay. I don't think this is quite a lie. I just think this was an omission of information. Okay. But people could have said that was a lie. So in the chat room, Jan Obi replied that the devil didn't tell Cotton that his sacrifice would help him hit puberty. That's actually kind of funny, though.
That is good.
Zoom past puberty. Yeah.
You're right. He's like, he said, like, that quickened my blood space, and now I'm able to be the man I need to be for you, Mom. Oh, that's what I want to say. He kept... Even in the bedroom, this was a super creepiest thing. He kept saying, like, mother, mother. Like, he never stopped calling her mother. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Blah.
No.
Yeah.
Getting all flowers in the attic, but that's kids with themselves in siblings. Not quite their parents, but yeah, there's other weird stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, then, I don't know. I want to say, the Countess, it went stronger because it was from the source. And I think it was one of those... She was only getting small amounts of it, so it wasn't quite... She needed more to really do that full transfer of body and mind and everything. Yeah.
And, and I was...
I don't know.
Okay, well, whatever. Again, it's Salem. Yes. You know, they're in Salem.
And then Anne... I'm like, dude, I don't trust this girl at all. She's like, yeah, Mary, I promise you release, pretty much. Like, don't worry, you're not going to feel any of this. You won't notice any of it, which at this point, though, Mary's kind of like, sign me up.
Again, Mary wanted to die. She wanted to
die, so she was ready.
She wasn't lying
go for it.
When she said, you're not going to have to deal with his touch.
Yes. Yep. Then we had a quick little bit of the mob and John, like, trying to get through it.
Meanwhile, back in Knocker's Hole.
Yeah, I know, jumping back, and then they jumped again, yes. Well, then we have Isaac grabs Dorcas and leaves. Tries to. But then it's weird because he never saw her, like, after Anne showed up. He didn't... Oh, I guess the idea is he had Dorcas and dropped her off at home.
Right.
Stayed there and went back.
I think we're meant to assume that that's what happened. He went back to protect...
Yeah. I thought he was going to stay with her and just stay out of it.
Who were they killing when he was like, stop it, it's enough, you're killing him?
I think it was just crazy mob mentality and just someone. Okay. I think it was random, and that was the point of it was just crazy.
Yeah.
And then we have John from the mob, and he gets to the mansion with Mary. Oh, their scene where you just totally like, I've been waiting for this scene for a while now. I love you. Tell me again, it gives me strength.
Yes. And it was shot so nice. It was just like his little lips on her.
Right,
it was really romantic, and it was. It's always been you. It was everything I wanted to hear for the end of this. She's like, you love me, and he's like, all I ever do is love you.
It's like, oh, good notes on romantic stuff there, everybody.
But they're true loves, you know. You can't fight that with the world's destruction.
And it didn't seem cheesy. It was just very like...
No, it was great. Because then she bit his ear off and became Countess Marburg.
Yes, so, and then I was just going to say, Countess takes over Mary's body, and... but then the Countess goes over to the devil and is all playing coy, because she's like, oh, wait, I need to be like Mary that he knows.
Right.
And she's like, I'm afraid.
That was fantastic.
that's a moment where you're like, bitch, please.
Yeah,
like
men though, they're so. She's like, I didn't want to, but that kiss was everything. And he's like, oh,
it changed
goody.
everything.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, all right. Oh, yeah. His moment too, where he's like, does this physique not please you or something? And he's like, it does.
I was like, no, you're great. I've been waiting for this forever.
Yeah.
I was surprised that the devil couldn't see through that with all his devilish powers.
I thought so too. I thought he had a moment where he looked at her, but I think
Yeah.
that was for us, the audience, to be like, oh wait. And he's like, you're more beautiful than I ever thought.
Right.
And you're just like,
I thought
Really?
he was going to be like, you're not my mother.
I thought that as soon as she
Yeah.
walked in, be like, where, yeah.
We
So
didn't
whatever.
have time for all that in
No.
this one. Yeah, we had to move it along.
Move it along.
Still
So,
wants mama. Yeah.
Yes. And now it's kind of the downhill, wrapping everybody up. We have Anne with her blood circle near John.
Right.
And this is where I was like, wait, what? Oh, she's going everywhere. She's like watching the sex and joining the sex, goes to Mercy, Isaac, Tituba, Devil, and I'm like, all the loose ends.
Okay.
So now what happens to everybody?
Should we talk about Tituba first?
Sure.
Can we? Because that, okay, that I thought was major. That was one of those, I sort of thought everyone, to some extent, got what they, not what they deserved is the wrong word, but got what was in line. A fitting end.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And Tituba, who I have hated intensely throughout the whole thing, that was a harsh, she really got, her ending was horrible. It was horrific. But she was an awful person. So it's like, hers was the most disturbing to me, even more than Cotton's.
She became an awful person. She wasn't always an awful person.
She might have become an awful person, but I guess the moral lesson I would take from that is it's cyclical. Like, you're not going to get happy or get any semblance of peace by staying in a loop of misery and trying to create it for others. Like, you're just stuck in that loop. So
and trusting the devil.
And trusting
you'd
the
get
devil.
Everything he would promise you.
Exactly.
No.
And, oh, God, and that was awful when she's like, you are a seer, and sorry, that means you're going to have to see the world built on the sweat, blood, and tears, basically, of your people.
I actually almost thought she was going to see the future. Like, way
Well, I
future.
think it was the future, because...
But I meant, like, now, today.
Oh.
Because that would be, like, seeing what happens to your people, essentially, that far down the line.
Right.
But that's probably a whole other thing.
It was more, but I thought what she saw and where she was like, worse.
She gets on a slave ship, and she has no mouth.
She's rendered mute is what I took that to be. Not that she just had no mouth, because that'd be freaky, right?
I want to go with that, too, because, but then she would die. She can't eat.
You can't have no mouth, so that's what I think she couldn't speak.
Symbolic. Like, it maybe starts that way, she gets a mouth again, but then is mute.
Right. Because Anne needed to control the story, as she said,
her
of
insurance.
Salem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I want to go, she's just mute on the slave ship.
But man, what a rough, that was a crappy, poor Tituba. I do feel bad for her, even though I think she pretty much was the worst. Yeah, I do feel bad for her. No one deserves that, but hey, you know,
I think she went down a bad path,
ever.
And it was one of those, like, well...
You deal with the devil, you know?
Yeah, guys, leave comments down below about what do you think of everybody's ending. Was it satisfying? Or do you feel bad for them? Mm-hmm. Do you think their ending was justified? Like, is it one of those, or was it too perfect? I definitely feel bad for Tituba.
Or what would you have liked to have happened if something different? What would you have wished, or,
so I was like, ugh. Then we have Isaac. Anne goes to him, and she's like, I want you to maybe lead Salem, but he doesn't fear her at all. Man, Isaac has got some stones by the end. He has for a little bit, but he definitely was like, no.
Yeah. And
like, tell her no, yes.
Well, the best was, because Isaac's just been, this entire season, it's been like Knocker's Hole and Salem proper.
Yeah.
Never the twain shall meet. Like, they didn't connect at all. Yeah. Except via Anne and Cotton, sort of, had crossed into both. Mary?
Mary came in a little bit. When we had back with the doctor, remember him from season 2?
But season 2. That's what I'm saying. In this season, there was no interaction. So Isaac, we forget, or I forgot that Anne comes all, and he's like, you too? Yeah. He didn't even know. And he was so out of it.
That was
pretty
funny.
Know.
He's like, wait.
And then he had no intimidation. She was, giving her spiel, and he's like, Missy, you are going down a bad path.
Yeah. Chat room, Dave brought up no ending for Gloriana. because we didn't even
She
see her.
lives. I mean, we know she lives because Cotton sacrificed himself.
And Salem doesn't end up destroyed, so I'm assuming she's just in the population of Salem.
It is interesting that they didn't show her in that end scene, though.
Or anywhere with the mob, scene. Or even the mob and the whorehouse. Because she could have, I don't know. I felt like the mob weren't attacking the women who worked there as much. They're more just destruction of property. And it seems like the women were able to kind of get out okay. But it is interesting we didn't see her at all, even though she was mentioned.
That is good call. That is a little weird that they didn't even cut to her during the end
or
scene.
have her in the crowd at the church.
Yeah.
You know? But I don't know.
I don't know. Good point.
Ooh, I think if Anne's all in charge the way she is, she would get rid of Gloriana for reals this time.
Maybe. Or maybe she just, because she did wipe her memory, she might not even...
Yeah, but to see her face and know that Cotton went for her and not you...
Maybe she did die during the mob scene and during the riot.
I think Anne probably would have you're done.
Maybe we need to watch Cotton's hell scene. Maybe he's seeing Gloriana somewhere. Maybe that's what... I wonder if there's any... Maybe... Well, she wouldn't be in hell.
They would have done more of a close-up.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question.
But
I don't know.
That is interesting. And I have some... Well, are we... I don't know if we're already there yet. Who else do we need to...
Oh, no, we have a few more.
Okay.
So we have Mercy. We kind of touched upon it, but totally wrapping her up. She dies for love with Hawthorne, and in the end, it was... so great to see, her character complete, going from being a dog walked around the streets to this wealthy, successful woman.
Knockers Hole wealthy.
And, Knockers Hole wealthy woman, and found love, though the relationship, we can all agree, was maybe a little bit weird, especially at times, but they loved each other, and I'm happy it was genuine. At first, we kind of were, I think we were both wondering, maybe it's one-sided, or it's just he's using her, or just lustful, and it doesn't
or
really
she's
love
using
her.
him.
Yeah, but no. In the end, I think they were similar people and understood each other and loved each other. And yet, in that moment of she's like, all I want is him, and I was like, oh, you said it. Even actually, though, when she said the line of him to die, and I'm like, oh, you said it, don't say that, because then he's dying, and then she's like, I just want to be with him. Well, you will. Haha, you both die. But then they kind of hold hands and kind of
they
grossly kiss each other as their mouths are
they were true love.
But they go out together.
Yeah,
so,
the couples with true love were Mercy and Hawthorne and Mary and John.
So
who knew?
Right.
It takes all kinds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's somebody for everybody. So the devil doesn't get too much. He gets stabbed with the blade, and Anne's like, I did it for power. And you can come back as my new baby, and I want you to be I want to be your bride kind of situation. I didn't see that as Anne going that direction. I was like, what?
And it was another super good loop, because she's saying we're doing this again. Yeah. And then his dying words were...
he tastes her destiny.
Well, that, and he's like, maybe this time I'll have a good childhood. Oh, that's all the devil wants is a nice childhood.
He's I wanted a good...
Yeah, that's what he says. His words are, it's first God, then Mary. Yeah. He hasn't had good parentage, you know.
Then we have the Countess. She's pretty much sad the devil died, but then she's like, you know what? I've learned my place. I will be not the queen, but the queen mother. And Anne's like, nope. She dies. So. I was kind of happy with that. If Anne's leaving, no one left behind.
Bye, Countess.
Yes. So towards the very end, we have John. He's Anne's like, I will let you go because you saved my life. I loved you once before, and the fact you saved my life, I'll let you go this one time. But if I ever see you again, I'll kill you. Which I believe her.
I do too.
And she's like, yeah, you can go and take Mary. And I think Mary's only able to go because I thought she couldn't leave Salem, but maybe now.
All bets are off. The witches are all dead. They were the ones keeping her there.
Yeah, and I think, but she also said, she thought she was dying because the Essex tree died. She had a line, when she was with John, and she's like, I thought this was because the Essex tree was dying, so I'm thinking it's gone now, so she's allowed to leave Salem. Or Anne did something to her that she can leave.
Ooh, or Marburg's dying freed
Or technically
her.
She was the other body. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Something.
Yeah.
It's a good
technically
question.
Right. When she left, she wasn't her. but would that still... Anyway, she was able to get out in her quinceañera dress, and that was great. You know,
it was a very pretty little dress.
It looked like a quinceañera dress, but it was...
Good point from the chat room. Jan Obi says, Anne's baby's not related to her, so it's all right, I guess.
True.
Good point. At least it's not her...
She can marry her really baby. That's not really... Right.
Yeah. And it's half of the man she did love for a while, so...
Sure. Okay.
And it was with a woman who's a redhead, so it's going to kind of look like your baby.
Right.
But that's a good point. They're not biologically related.
Okay, sure.
Genetically, they're not.
They're not. No, they're not soul. Like, it's going to take the soul. But you're right. She just put a baby in her womb. Okay, you're right. She didn't, like, gestate him.
Yeah, no.
Okay, you're right. Okay, you're right. Good point.
And it was an accelerated pregnancy, too, which I'm like, so she's, like, ready to pop.
It was essentially, like, a surrogate situation where instead of just getting it after, you put it in you and then give it. Give it life. Birth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Then we have Mary and John. So like, I was worried that like there would be a loophole with Mary or something like that. I was like this show and these characters make you like not trust anybody. You're just
right.
Like, I don't know, something. But then she's okay because once the Countess dies, she gets all her energy back, and they leave together with their adorable, like, walking through the graveyard, all beautiful, even though it's a graveyard.
Flower strewn.
They leave, and it's really sweet.
It's really beautiful. They wound up in a beautiful meadow.
Yes.
I was glad. I liked that John took Crypt Mary and still loved her, but I was glad when she marified and became,
she's like, I'm normal.
A girl again. Yeah, I was like, would he love her forever if she stayed like that? And I think he would. I think it's true love, but
he'd
I was
figure out
glad.
something to help her.
Yeah.
And she's completely non-witch. She's not a witch anymore.
Right.
So he's good. He's good to go.
Yay.
Actually, back to Anne and the baby. I mean, this show we've talked about. There's so many interesting questions, and like we think about it way too much, which we're glad you guys do too. Dave G in the chat room said, "Can Anne bring Cotton back from hell through the baby?"
Anne,
I think she could.
Back from hell.
Can Cotton be part of the baby and come back? I think that's a possibility, though I think she wants the devil. So she's not going to bring Cotton back. And the way he, like, dropped her at the end, I'm pretty sure she's not going to try to go after him. She wants the devil and she's moved on.
And I don't think he would want that either. No. Like, I don't think there's even a way for him to...
Yeah, so I don't think so.
...do that. Would want to do that, even if he could.
So then we have Anne. She's at the church, and she's like, yeah, I'm going to have birth pains, too. Ha ha, joke, everybody. I'm like, She's taking over Mary Sibley's role.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to...
Yes.
To clarify. So what do we think that the people of Salem thought happened to all those people? Like, that there was just some tragic accident that cost
all those
Cotton,
people technically
John,
just Cotton,
Mary,
well, John,
Isaac,
Mary, who cares about where they are?
Mercy. Well, a lot of people died in one night.
But there was a crazy mob.
So it's just
something happened. Though Isaac, we don't actually see die. He just gets carried off by the mob.
You're right.
We don't see Isaac die. So Isaac is actually open-ended. I think there's... And then they don't care about Mercy. They only maybe care about Hawthorne being dead. So Anne just takes... I think they've just gone through a whole lot, and Anne shows up with this authority and direction, and so they all are like, oh, thank God, someone's leading this. So she's just taking over Mary's job, and maybe since Mary paved the way for this young lady because now this town has already been used to a woman being in charge, so now they're kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
And then the men who are so against it aren't around anymore. Not really.
Right. Well, the magistrate's gone. Yeah, no, Anne's in a perfect position to do this and to recreate the narrative. And they all know her. Yeah, they all know her. They love her and everything. And so she talks about this being a new world. And I thought that was Dorcas sitting up right in front. It was. But she also gave Anne, like, I don't trust you at all, look. Yeah,
and
well, like, everyone was cheering and clapping, and Dorcas is like...
Nope. I don't buy that. Yep. I was happy she, like, thought about it. And then the final shot we have of Anne is with her crown, her big, luscious curls, and looks right at camera. Is like, hey, what's up? And I was like, yes.
Yes.
She claimed her throne.
In addition, as loving John and Mary, I liked that even though Anne went full tilt, Mommy Dear's crazy on everybody, which I liked, she did in releasing John show her humanity. She remembered. She said,
And
I loved you
even-
as a girl.
and Mary
One time
even.
you said, and she did. Well, she said, I'm not doing it for her. I'm doing this for you.
I know, but she didn't kill Mary. She could have.
I think Mary needed to be alive for the Marburg thing. They were still somehow connected.
But I
They
mean,
just
like,
sort of
in the end,
shifted.
she could have gotten rid of Mary. Like, she didn't need to let...
She wanted John to be happy, and she knew Mary would.
There you go. It's
Make him
consolation for
happy.
John.
Yeah, she
True.
did it for
Okay.
John.
Okay.
She let him run away with his true
Oh,
love.
and Brown Jenkins got fat.
Brown Jenkins,
He was a big old rat
went
now.
from a rat to like a guinea pig
Yeah.
or something. He was like a different.
Oh,
Yeah,
I noticed that too. I'm like, dude, he got big.
yeah.
And then the last person, this is a interesting choice, and guys, please discuss down below what your thoughts are on this. So the final image we have Cotton a little bit earlier going down the spiral staircase, and out on this balcony, he is mute, or at least in cacophony of noise. He can't hear himself yell and scream. And his final pose is his head down in his hand, like the angel statue next to him.
Yeah.
And so I think it's interesting that the show chose that as the last shot of the show, chose him and that imagery.
Yes.
And him looking at hell and kind of his hand in his head. So is this any other statement of thinking like something, or is it just, it's an interesting choice. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think about it?
I isn't there biblical reference to like the angels will weep at,
Could be.
you know,
yeah.
is that like, I think Cotton's essentially an angel in this situation?
Kind of. I was hoping he might be able to
martyred
do
angel?
something in hell. Because, I mean, it goes from happy, like, romantic ending with John and Mary. Then it goes to Anne Takeover, which is a little more, like, dramatic and dark-ish.
Right.
And then it goes to Cotton in hell and him in utter despair, kind of. That was
Yeah.
like, whoa!
I think the message there is don't forget what Cotton sacrificed
There you go.
for these people. Cotton sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go for that.
Yeah.
And
That's
just,
what I took
I
from
hope he finds his father in there.
I don't really care for his father. I mean, I'm
Well,
sure
I
he'll
think
make him happy, but
they've made amends by now
Yeah.
of like, oh, like
yeah,
I
he'll have a
understand you
friend.
better.
Familiar
Yeah.
face in hell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, Drake Love says Dante, as in like Dante's Inferno. That's a good point
Okay.
too. Yeah,
Is there a reference to like a crying angel? Is that what the Dante's?
that's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, and also chat friends. I really want to hear what other people think of the conclusion overall, and especially that Anne wrap up in the church. Is it just
Yes.
like history is bound to repeat itself? Was that the?
Could be, because it's similar to how Mary was a little bit too.
Yeah.
Also a huge shout out to the executive producers and that awesome message that they gave.
Yes, thank you.
Viewers, that was cool.
Yeah,
and then
that was so cool.
If you want to paraphrase the tweet that you saw the other day.
Yes. So I had tweeted to Brendan Braca, if I'm saying it right, not messing up his name, and asked if they were aware during the writing of this season about the political climate and if it was meant to imitate it or if it was just a happy accident. And he replied that it was just a happy accident, and then they sort of leaned into it and embraced it. So I did think that stood out in the Anne finale part where it's like, make Salem great again. You know, she's like, our Salem has been ruled by witches too long and we're going to make Salem great again. But she's the worst villain of all.
And you don't.
So
nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. She's telling them what they want to hear, and they're all eating it up.
Okay. Speaking of the ending, so Janobi says angels are monsters, and Cotton is being tortured by angels, and he has been a monster in season 1 when he sent all these innocent people to hell. Okay.
But he didn't mean to be. He thought he was.
But even if you killed those people, I didn't say they necessarily were damned to hell because they died. But I don't know. Let us know your thoughts.
I don't know. That's an interesting theory for sure. Up to subject to interpretation. But yeah, it's a.
Any other final quick thoughts?
No, I just want to say, thank you to the show's creators. It was a wonderful show, a great ride. We are happy to our fans and to the viewers and to the show makers to have had it. It was a wonderful ride, and I was happy to be along for it.
And so where can people find you online now that this is over?
People can find me. Again, I'm Pam Gross. Thank you so much for tuning in and chatting with us. We like it. And you can find me at Pamela Gross Jill.
And do you have any other shows at AfterBuzz?
Dance Moms. If you like Salem, then you'll love Dance Moms.
Well, it's a lot of drama, right?
So it's a different kind of hell.
Sure.
Yeah. Other crazy kids. Yeah.
Yes.
Different but the same. But if you like Dance Moms, check it out. We are live on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. So check us out live Tuesdays at 8. Dance Moms.
Nice. And my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's Karidlane. And a huge thank you so much to all of you who have watched it. We're fans just like you and loved hearing your thoughts on the episodes, your discussions during the live chats. Thank you so much. Give the video a thumbs up, 5 stars on iTunes. And my other shows, so similar-ish magic. Magicians just started up yesterday. The Expanse will be starting very soon. It's on the 2nd. And then Sunday is Emerald City. Man, the High Castle is ending pretty soon. Box Office Breakdown on Sunday nights, where we talk about the movies that came out that weekend. And Timeless has a few more episodes, and that's on Monday nights. So just a few. And so make sure to subscribe to AfterBuzz TV, because then you can be up to date on all these awesome after shows of shows you love and we love, because that's why we're here, because we want to talk about this show with you. So again, thank you so much for watching. We're, happy to be here for you guys. And thank you to Salem, and we will miss you, heathens. Bye.
Bye, heathens.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.